Is it reflective of the government not caring about levelling up?
Not at all. It's nothing to do with levelling up. This is not about levelling up. This is about a business which has been very badly affected over the last 2.5 years. This is COVID-related, and it's affected all airports. It's affected the travel industry enormously. It affected the entire supply chain throughout hospitality, everything. And we knew there was an anticipation, I think we all knew, to get back to the sort of numbers, even though the airports look busy at the moment, it was going to take a couple of years. And very sadly and very tragically, because I'm a great supporter, I mean, I worked out of Heathrow when I started my career, but obviously from my neck of the woods, I have Liverpool, John Lennon and Manchester. As you said, we obviously had, across the Pennines. And this is a result, really, of, I think, I don't think it's about investment or anything like that. It's, I think Wizz Air were one of the airlines that flew in, and they've now stopped. And they're at the mercy of they're at the mercy of things, really, a lot of these very small carriers. And I think at the moment you've only got TUI. I think only TUI was left, and TUI, of course. And these are holiday type airlines, so they tend to do most of their business in the summer. The difference is with a lot of other airports, they may have schedules that are sort of fairly equal throughout the year. So they're not dependent on just one part of the year. Now, I don't know whether Doncaster deals much with freight. East Midlands, for example, I remember many years ago there was Birmingham and East Midlands, and there was quite a lot of passenger traffic from East Midlands. And then that gradually sort of disappeared, and it's now very freight-orientated. So I don't know what the answer is, because people say, well, could the government put money in? Well, it's owned by Peel Ports, and they've obviously made a decision to say that we can't carry on doing that. And then you're in a position, whichever government, and they say, well, can we have some money from government to put in to keep it going? But the thing is, even if you were doing that, you've got to have the traffic out of it. You've got to be able to have the airlines who are prepared to put their business model in there and their business in there, and then the whole of the supply chain. It's not just an aeroplane, it's everything else that goes with that to keep an airport running. And I think it's really sad, actually.
Before I bring Kevin in the first PMQs that Liz Truss did, she was asked about this, about would you save the airport? And she said, and I quote directly, we will protect this airport and its infrastructure. See, and I look at that and I think, well, actually, the airport and its infrastructure is a private enterprise. And I found that to be a very bold statement, because that's not an ambiguous statement. That is a clear cut. We will protect this airport and its infrastructure. And to put that on the record, and then to let it or allow it or whatever market forces, and for it then to close, that's why I think a lot of people feel disappointment, because they'll say they had their expectations set that it was going to be saved by central government, and then hasn't been. I
mean, I can't recall sort of hearing that statement, because I would have had a red flag go up. And sometimes when you've got these questions in the House and, they're bouncing backwards and forwards, and they obviously try and do as much research, I think, in advance to make sure they can answer something reasonably coherently. I'm not sure why she said that particularly, but maybe at that time, when that discourse took place, maybe there was a possible chance that they could keep it going. I don't know, so I can't really comment that much further. As I said, it'd be great if they could come to... I understand that the local authorities are involved and there's Labour MPs there and whatever, and I hope that they can maybe find a way, but I think they would really genuinely, Michelle, have to get more airlines to guarantee to come in and start operating, and not just next summer, but to be able to start some sort of, certainly some sort of business during the winter too.
Kevin?
I think a lot of the points about the economics of airports, I've worked for some in my professional career, are very valid. I think you're right, Michelle. The problem is hopes were raised. There was a very clear commitment given. Labour MPs did write to the Transport Secretary asking him to use something called the Civil Contingencies Act to keep the airport open. And this could have been done. There are ways. It was based on what the Prime Minister has said, and I think that's caused the problem. Hopes were raised. The economics of airports, absolutely agree, but the government could have stepped in, and it's decided not to. And I think, again, to be charitable and open-minded, airports bring economic growth, they bring jobs, and that's why people are questioning the commitment.